Hello, it's Ash and welcome to my channel. So you've got a little bit longer to stretch and I'm going to help you. We're going to have a nice good post-run stretch. Or you could do this in the morning, you could do this in the evening, you can do it a few hours after your run. I get that question quite a lot. The reason why you can do these stretches whenever really is because the dynamic, we're always moving, we're keeping the muscles nice and soft and we're moving through them rather than just stuck in a static position. Okay, so we're going to come down onto your back. And the first one, we're actually going to a static position, but we're active in it, so we're actively using the muscles. So we're going to come onto your back, we're going to have a little bit of a move around into the shoulders and the hips, just have a little bit of a windscreen wiper left and right. And we're going to start to just drop into a really nice awareness of what is going on in your body, so we feel and we can connect and we can learn and understand about tightness at each side or little niggles or potential issues that are coming up in the body. And that's why it's really good to just take this time to stretch post-run, mindfully check in with your body. So there's so many benefits to post-run stretching that are not just about the physical, literal physical aspect of there and then. You know, they've got the long-term benefits of creating a nice, supple, elastic body. You've got obviously the connecting mind and body, so you can feel and feel when something's not right and something's starting to, go off a little bit, potentially going into an injury. But then also you've got the space, you've got the time to breathe and move and balance out the intensity of our run and our stressful, busy lives. Okay, so we're just going to bring the feet up towards the hips into a nice good bend in those knees. And then we're going to send the hips up, we're going to work into the lower back and the bum. There's a little bit of strength in this, obviously. We're going to send the hips up into a hip bridge, relax the shoulders, so wiggle them. We're going to work into the lower back, so we're going to get a nice arch into that lower back. So really focus on those lower back muscles. Try not to let the thighs do all of the work. We don't want the quads doing all the work. Breathe in and out through the nose if you can. So again, you're starting to bring conscious awareness into how you're breathing. That will help your recovery. If we can slow our breathing down to a nice relaxed slow inhale and a nice relaxed slow exhale. If the exhale can be slightly longer than the inhale, that is signaling to the central nervous system to calm down. Your body will soften. The intensity of the fuzziness in the brain and the body will just ease a little bit with that relaxed breathing. Okay, we're nearly there with this. So there's work in this. Even though it's a static shape, we are squeezing and holding the muscles. Okay, almost there. And then slowly releasing the hips to the floor. And as we do that, we're just going to go straight up with the knees and bring the knees into the chest as a counter, really. And we're going to massage left and right with those knees. Hug the shins. Squeeze into the hips and the lower back. So we're massaging the lower back down into the mat and the floor with the weight of the legs. You can go left and right, up and down, do some little circles. See if you can find any tender spots in the lower back area that just need a little bit more attention. And if you find a spot, you can just work into it for 10 seconds or so. Just real detailed roll into that area. And then just expand and explore the movement a little bit. Keep the shoulders and the jaw relaxed. Again, we're never holding the breath. We're always trying to focus on those nice, relaxing inhales and exhales that are signaling to the brain-body connection. It's time to unwind and de-stress. Okay, so we're going to try and keep the lower back nice and flat into the floor here because we don't want to lift the pelvis up too high up off the floor because that can strain and stretch it too much. We're going to start I'll show you the modifications for this one to start. So we're going to bring the knees in towards the chest, holding the back of the knees, and then you're starting to just push the feet up above the knees. If you're quite tight, you might only be able to just pull it in a little bit. So I'm going to try and think about as many different people, as many different bodies as possible. Really important, you don't judge your body against my body. My body is different to your body. So we can go here, or maybe we could go hands to the shins, hands on the inside of the legs, and they can open up the knees a little bit wider. Or if that's comfortable, we can go hands to the big toes, And we can really start to open up, pull in the feet nice and wide, the knees nice and wide, keep the lower back resting into the floor, and then pull in the feet above the knees. And what we're going to do is a really slow little massage. Move the weight of the body into the left and move the weight of the body into the right. Breathe into the belly button. So make the belly button lift up as you breathe in, and the belly button falls as you breathe out. And with the movement, we're really slowly soothing and massaging and creating that nice fluid sense of suppleness towards the end of the range of our motion in our hips, in the muscles and in the joints. So again, really easy left and right movement, not too aggressive with the stretch. Okay, and then we're going to slowly release the right foot and stretch the right leg out back onto the mat nice and long, and keep hold of the left leg. Now we can, again, I'll show you the modification. Well, actually, I'll go the full version first. So the full version, left hand onto the left big toe, and then extending that left leg nice and long. If that feels too intense, take hold of the back of the calf muscle, or take hold of the back of the hamstring muscle. So you're going to, wherever you feel comfortable, either on the hamstring, the calf, or the big toe. Use the right arm nice and wide as a counterbalance if you need to do that. And then what we're doing is we're bending the knee slightly and then pushing the heel into the floor. Bend the knee and then straighten the leg. Breathe as you do that, and you're working. Again, this is a nice mobility stretch because you're working a little bit of strength but also a little bit of flexibility, so it's double. And I always say this, I'm sorry for repeating myself, but flexibility and strength together equals mobility, and when you have better mobility, you move around more efficiently. Okay, so you're just slowly pulsing with that, and always listening and being kind to your body. So you're not aggressively doing it just for the sake of it. It's working within the range of motion that you currently have and just working up to the edge of it and then just expanding it up to the edge and expanded it. Okay, and then slowly release that left foot all the way down to the floor. Stretch the left leg out and then feel the difference. Feel the after sensations compared to the left and the right. And then we're going to bring that right foot up. So again, either hamstring area, calf area, or big toe. It's not a competition. There's lots of different people that have different levels of flexibility and tightness that watch my videos and follow along with me, so I'm trying to cater for all. So again, listen to your body and don't copy me, because your body's not my body. Okay, slowly again, wherever you are, slowly kick the heel into, so it's a straight leg, and then bend the knee. Kick the heel into the air and then release. Left arm can always be used as a counterbalance if you need to, with the foot in the air. So how was your run? What was your run like today? Did it go as planned? Was your energy levels as you'd hoped? Mentally, did it feel like your normal runs? Did it feel better? Is there anything that you can learn and take away from that run that you can experience and maybe change for next time? Okay, so slowly start to stretch that right leg out nice and long again. Have a little bit of a move around and wiggle. Feel the after sensations, the tingles and the blood pressure changing as the leg comes back down. Okay, and then from here we're going to bring the feet back up towards the hips. We're going to get into the hips and the glutes a little bit more. So we're going to place the left ankle area onto the right thigh, and then we're going to take hold of the back of that right thigh now, so the hamstring area, and then we're going to slowly pulse and massage, keeping the lower back nice and flat and supported into the floor again. So you pull in the foot up and then release. Pull the foot up. And we're trying to go for about a 7 out of 10 intensity in this stretch. So it doesn't want to be feeling like something's about to snap or break. Imagine if you was kneading dough to make bread, you wouldn't be really aggressive and smashing it about. You'd be softening it and kneading it, wouldn't you? That's how we're trying to have the same mindset of the body. We knead the joints in a really, obviously there's some element of putting the body into a position that sometimes it's not used to, or it's not been in, but we are slowly and smoothly just expanding the range of your body, getting more flexible. So again, it's not the short-term view of our stretching. So we try not to take that mindset of like, right, this stretch is gonna be the best thing ever, and it's gonna relieve all, and it's gonna change my flexibility in one session. It's about having that long-term, sustainable health mindset that this is a really good practice. Stretching is a really good practice for your longevity of your body, your joints and your muscles. And it helps balance out the intensity of your runs. So slowly release the right foot, then the left foot. Feel all of that work that we've just worked into that left hip compared to the right. Have a little bit of a windscreen wiper, left and right. Okay, and then placing the right ankle area onto the left thigh, and then we're going to bring the left thigh into the hands again, and just slowly pull into that stretch, into that hip, and then release. And as you do that, just notice which side feels tighter, the left or the right. And does it feel tighter in the same type of area that you feel a stretch, or is it slightly different? And this is where you can learn and understand about the needs of your body. So maybe you figure out, I've got a tighter right hip or a tighter right glute that needs some addressing. So maybe I need to do some more hip work, for instance. And then that's how you figure things out, and you can start to understand the needs of your body. So well done. Nice slow pulses. And then slowly release the foot to the floor. Again, windscreen wiper left and right. Now this next one can get a little bit too intense for some people. It might feel quite difficult. So I'll show you the modification to start. So what we can do is we can touch the feet together and bring the heels to the hips. And then we can just start to massage left and right with the hands applying some pressure to the inner thighs, left and right with this, like this. Or we could carry on going, if we've got the flexibility, we can keep the feet together and then really pull the feet. Don't lift the lower back up off the floor. Really pull the feet as if you're pulling the heels towards the belly button. You will apply some pressure with the hands, obviously, and maybe you could push into the elbows to push the knees out a little bit wider. And again, just have a little bit of a wiggle left and right, massaging. You're going to get a little bit of strength work for the upper body. Try and clasp the fingers to create a good strong grip, so you're not clenching too hard with the hands. Try not to hunch and tense the shoulders too much. Massage into the inner thighs, maybe getting it into the hamstrings at the back of the thighs. But this one again is a really good one for us runners, as it really opens up into the hips and the inner thighs. And it's good for us for modern day living. We don't do this enough. We don't take our knees out wide enough times in the day. So you can move left and right, you can move up and down with the feet as well. Just have a little bit of a play around. Or if your feet are on the floor, again, you're pushing the knees down nice and slow and then releasing left and right. And then we're going to slowly release the feet all the way back. Stretch the legs out nice and long. And just take a big stretch. Stretch the hands out above your head, pointless toes. Just a nice big stretch, just open up through the ribs, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just maybe a bit of a sigh out and come back down with the hands and just take a moment before we move on. Just notice how that little section there has made your body feel. And just notice how there's probably been a shift in the intensity of how your mind and body feel. We've got that little bit longer time where we can Just go a little bit slower. We can have some more space. We can go a bit deeper into some of the stretches. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll over onto my left side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go left elbow into the floor. Now I'm going to step my right foot across the body and over past off the mat. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take hold of the left foot with the right hand. So if you need to do that to start, to get into position, you can do that. If you're struggling with this one as well, what you can do is you can just bring the foot up to the thigh, up to the hip, sorry, with the other foot, and then you can take hold of it. So take hold of that left foot into the right hand, right foot's across the body. Now what we're going to try and do is pull this left knee backwards and then let the left hip sink down into the floor. So we should be getting that through left side of the body, going down into that the IT band, into the hip at the front of the hip, and the hip flexors down into the left thigh. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to pull the left heel into the hip, into a good stretch, then release it. Pull the left heel into the hip and then slowly release it. And I think this one's called cat's tail pose. But it's a really nice one for the side of the body and the hips and going down into the thighs, so the quads. So you're slowly releasing, pulsing the heel into the hip and then release. Heel into the hip and then release. Try not to get too tense through this left shoulder, so if you need to, you can breathe and move. And have a little smile. How's this feeling for you? If you're not feeling it as much, what you can do is just keep pulling that knee backwards so it's in line with the hip. Again, a really nice stretch for us runners. Right into the thighs that do a lot of work, right into the hip flexors, and then all the way through the side of the body again, into that upper part of the hip as well, near the glute medius, which all of those muscles just take a big, every time we step, they take a big shock absorption. So we're giving them a bit of a stretch and a bit of a squish and give them a bit of TLC. So we're going to just release the foot nice and slowly. And I'm going to come over to the other side with that one. So I'm going to go elbow in to the floor, hip roughly in line with the elbow, and then take the hip a little bit further away from the elbow so you've got that space. So then going to go across with the foot, the leg comes across the body, the top leg comes across the body. We're going to take hold of that right foot into the left hand and pull the right knee backwards in line with the hip. Should be getting that down the side of the body, going into the hip, and then top of the hip, and then the right thigh as well. Again, we're going to just twist and look over this right shoulder, and then you're going to pull the heel into the hip and then release. Pull the heel into the hip and release. And you can push into that left foot as well, just to help the twist that little bit more. Keep pulling that right knee back to the point until you get that good stretch. So for me, I can feel that this is different on this side. I'm not getting it as much in my thigh and getting it more in the side of my body and around the hip, the actual hip, rather than in the hip flexors at the top of the thigh and going on into the quads. And again, that's normal. So if it feels different and it doesn't feel, sometimes the intensity changes, that's just because of our bodies are imbalanced. So it's normal to have those different sensations and different intensities on each side. Keep slowly pulsing and slowly release the foot, stretch the leg out nice and long, come back up onto your hands and knees, and then just feel the after effects in the hips and the side of the body. Okay, we're going to go into the shoulders and the back, upper back, middle back and lower back. Really important that if you get pinching in the shoulders, you just take your hands wider and start to bend the elbows with this one. So knees are underneath your hips. So if you pause for a moment, I'll show you where we're going. You keep looking at the screen. Forehead down to the floor, and then we're going to reach your hands up nice and high above the head again. You bend the elbows and just take it into like a cactus if you need to for the shoulders. And then you're going to push the armpits and the chest down into the floor. So let's go into that. Forehead in between the hands. Stretch the hands out and then push the armpits and the chest down into the floor, And then again, what we're going to do, nice and slowly, just making it really slow massage by rolling the forehead along the mat to the left and right. And as we do that, as we roll the forehead to the right, we're going to put a bit more weight into the right knee and right side of the body, and put a bit more into the left side as we go to the left. Make sure the shoulders are feeling okay with that. If you need to bend the arms, do that to make them more comfortable. Think about still pushing the chest into the floor as well. Breathing in and out of the belly button, so belly button moves towards the floor as you breathe in, and it moves away from the floor as you breathe out. So we're getting as much of the body as we can in this nice stretch. We're really focused on pretty much every area of the body. So we're giving it a good reset. Okay, we're going to bring the hands back in slowly underneath the shoulders, and then slowly push back up into that all fours position. Just feeling the after effects again. Have a little bit of a move around. And then we're going to bring the elbows down. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're just going to start to stretch the legs out nice and long into a little bit of a Sphinx pose, but we're going to go into the inner thighs, so the groin muscles, the adductor muscles with this one. And if you've got a hard floor like I have, you might want to get some cushions or some blankets to make this more comfortable, or separate your mats a little bit wider like this. Just give the mats a little bit of some width. So then your knees can stay okay with this. So what you're going to do, come over to the right side of your mat, and then open up the left knee about as high as the hip, and then the foot goes wider than the knee. And now what you're going to do is you're going to push the hips into the floor, and as you lift the chin and chest away from the floor as well. And now what we're going to do is you're going to thrust the left hip into the floor as much as you can, pushing that left knee open, then relax it. So you have to squeeze your glutes on to do that, so you have to squeeze your bum. So squeeze your bum to push the hip into the floor, and then release. Really slow, it's a really slow, subtle, detailed stretch. Again, we want it to be dynamic, we want movement, we want the body to work slowly. Again, there's a little bit of strength with this flexibility, so we're getting mobility, your body will function better. It's not just a passive, static stretch that we're holding. We don't want our body to be loose elastic bands. We want strength with our flexibility. Okay, we're nearly there. And then just bring that left leg back in. Feel the inner thighs. Just compare the left and the right and notice how nice that feels on the left. I'm going to move over to the left edge of the mat. If you've got the blankets again, you can just rest the knee on the blanket. So then you're going to go, right knee comes up to hip height, and then take the right foot wider than the knee, and then again you're going to thrust the hip into the floor, and then release. Thrust the hip into the floor, squeezing the bum to do that. And so we're just breathing and pulsing. So what have you got on for the rest of your day? Have you got a focus for the rest of the day? Have you got things that need doing? Or can you just chill a little bit? So for me, I've had my nice, easy recovery run at an easy pace today, switched off. I've had my morning clients, my running clients, and then I am finished after this session. It's a Friday afternoon for me. I'm going to spend time. I'm going to do the school run with my wife as well, and pick up our eldest daughter. Our youngest daughter is with my wife at the moment, and we're going to have a nice family Friday. Okay, bring that right leg in, and then I can just have a move around, feel the after effects of that. And then what we're going to do is come into the middle of your mat now. Again, if you need blanket or cushions for the knees, for a hard surface, what we're going to do is just put those blankets and cushions underneath the knees so it doesn't hurt on the insides of those knees. But what we're going to do is going to come up to all fours. Come up, elbows underneath the shoulders and then knees underneath the hips. But then start to take the knees as wide as the mat, all the blankets, and get them comfortable. Now, the feet go wider than the knees again, and we're going to do a frog rock. So we're going to get this really nice mobility exercise. Walk the hands that little bit further elbows and hands a little bit further forwards to the top of the mat. And then what we're going to do, lifting the head away from the hands, you're going to slowly start to rock the hips backwards to the point that you feel a good stretch and like, oh, that feels good. And then slowly rock the hips forwards until the point that it feels good. Make sure your lower back doesn't feel the weight because we want to be really resting. We want to rest all of the weight of the body into the elbows and a little bit into the knees, but we don't really want to be putting too much pressure on the knees, so make sure they are comfortable. A nice, good, slow frog rock is going to help the adductor muscles on the inner thighs. It's going to really work deeply into those hips. Just breathing and moving. Don't hold the breath and move at roughly about the same pace as me. You don't have to be copying me, but just go roughly about the same pace. Don't go any quicker. Feel how nice that feels to work right into those hips. You can take the knees wider if it feels like it's starting to get easier. In and out through the nose, make sure your breathing's nice and relaxed. Remember to smile as the intensity increases. It stops us from scowling or going into negative thinking. And then slowly starting to bring the knees back in, stretch the legs out nice and long, bring the waist down, move left and right. Feel the after effects of that. Okay, and then we're going to get comfortable with the right side of the head into the mat, or the forehead into the mat, as we bring the left foot up and then take hold of the left foot. We're going to get into the quadriceps again, so the thigh muscles. We're going to pulse, make sure the head's comfortable, then we're going to pulse the heel into the hip and then release. Push the left hip into the floor as we do that. Get a nice, good breath. So nice, good breath. Nice, relaxed breathing, I meant to say. So don't hold the breathing. Well done for giving your body this extra care. So all of this movement, all of this stretching, all of the range of motions that we've gone through in this practice, in this nice good stretch, again, it's keeping your body healthy and supple and mobile. So well done. Okay, and then slowly release that foot. Feel the after effects, again, the after sensations. Let's bring the left arm up. Let's bring the right foot up and take hold of that foot. Slowly pulse with that right heel to the hip, then release. Get nice and easy with the breathing. So if you have enjoyed this practice, it's that time of the video where I leave it late in the video to ask this, because if you've got to this stage, you must have enjoyed this video. But if you could just engage with the content, it's really beneficial. It means that obviously more people are going to see the content, they're going to benefit from this content. We're getting the message out there, don't skip the stretch. So if you could just give it a thumbs up, if you could like the video, if you could comment, if you let me know how it feels, let me know. Or if you just put thanks for the video, Ash, if you're not sure what to put. Subscribe to the channel. I post 3 videos a week for free. And share this. So shares have been massive in bringing more people to my channel and seeing this content. So I do greatly appreciate all of your engagement. I love to read your comments and reply to them. So thank you for that. Okay, we're going to slowly release. Feel the after effects of the stretching. Bring the elbows in, underneath the shoulders, into that nice good lower back stretch. Touch the toes together, lift the chin and chest up. breathe. To be fair, I'm absolutely blown away by how quickly the channel has grown, how big this community has grown so quickly. It's quite staggering, really, and I just want to say thank you very much for all of your support. It is amazing. I'm really, really grateful for it. And then, sorry, I've just got one more little advert to throw in there. And again, if you don't ask, you don't get. But if you are interested, I know that quite a lot of people have mentioned in the comments that they'd like to support my channel in some way financially. Now, I've struggled with this because it's really nice, but I don't just want to ask for money. So the best way that I've kind of got around this is I thought I want to be able to give you something back for you potentially giving me some financial reward for that. Now, what I've got is a video membership platform. I've created an online video membership platform where there's longer stretches, different mini courses and series, and videos that are going to help you. So if you are interested in supporting my channel and getting some deeper content, you can have a look at the link in the description below on my website for the video streaming platform. So that might be of interest, or it might not be. You might just want to keep getting this free content. Okay, so you're coming up nice and slowly now. Notice how it feels to have spent that time slowly working through the body, having that space mentally and physically. How do you feel? So well done, a massive well done for getting to the end of this stretch, caring for your body in this way, just taking that little bit longer time to really look after your body and go deep into it, breathe, move, stretch. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you've got planned, and I shall see you in the next video.